It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Hey, good morning and welcome to, would we call this Wednesday or Thursday? It's actually Thursday, travel and cruise industry news podcast. And yeah, this is yesterday's show. So, it was just a mess. So let me bring you up to date. There's Hot Air Tom in the background, waving his arms. Just don't get into my Elijah Craig over there, Hot Air Tom. And you can see our housekeeper's coming in and out. She's doing towels and making the beds and so forth. Oh, he's getting water. Okay.
Well, Ken might think this is vodka, so I don't know.
Yeah, Ken would think it's vodka. Ken has 4 feet of snow. Anyway, so let me bring you up to date. First, my apologies for not being able to do the show yesterday. I'd announced that we were going to at least attempt to do the show from the train. Hot Air Tom and I did a sleeper car from Richmond to Miami. And let me preface what I'm going to say here, folks, by saying that I love to travel by train. I am not an anti-train person at all. But this may have been the most uncomfortable I've ever been on a train before. And I was excited about being in a sleeper car because I've never been in a sleeper car before. And I was thinking, oh, that would be really nice. Well, what it ended up happening, when I was laying in bed, of course, we started off late in the evening, so it wasn't long until it was bedtime. But I'd be laying there and I'd literally get thrown out of bed on the floor because with the swerving and bouncing and wow. Well, then I found out from a person that I talk to regularly that is a big time train person that particular cabin, the accessible cabin on that model train is sitting right over the wheels. And that could lead to more of the swerving and bouncing and uncomfortableness that I experienced. As a result, I slept none. We were in Jacksonville for 38 minutes sitting still, and I was able to catch a 30-minute nap. Was the sole bit of my sleeping on the way down. Because of the movement of the train car, when I tried to set my phone up, I use my phone as my webcam. When I'm broadcasting, folks, this is going through my phone. I find that a lot easier to do than going through an extemporaneous camera. I personally like it that way. So when I tried to set the phone up, there was so much bouncing and stuff. There's no way in the world I could do a show that I could have a phone that would keep my face somewhere in frame. It was just awful. So I decided, and then there's no space. That's a handicap accessible cabin, and it does have a nice bathroom, which we weren't counting on. We were afraid it might be right there in the room. It was a nice, decent bathroom, small, of course. But to me, that cabin might have been okay for one person, but not for two grown men, because you got me and Hot Air Tom in there, plus my huge wheelchair. It was just not a whole lot of space.
Yeah, I was fine living on the top bunk. But to tell about the table, that was the other issue.
Yeah, the other issue that where you can actually sit after you take the bed down and have it back to where it's like chairs. You got one of those tables that pulls up, that pulls over for the person that's sitting next to the window. It wouldn't come out. And we got the conductor and this room guy and all kinds of people to try to get that thing up. And Hot Air Tom and I did everything we could to budget, and nobody had the strength to move this thing. It was just royally jammed. So I had no table space. So it just didn't work out for me doing the show. So I apologize for that. So then we get into Miami, and one of that we had several plans here. One of the plans was to walk part of the way. And I was confused about that. I was thinking we're walking all the way to the hotel. Well, it wasn't that. It was walking to the metro station, and we had to take metro trains and change another train. And anyway, eventually get to the hotel. So I look out at the train station. We actually started walking out in the parking lot, and I'm looking ahead, and I'm thinking, there's no way in hell at night I'm walking in that kind of sketchy neighborhood. So we went back to the train station, and lo and behold, sitting right there is a wheelchair accessible taxi that was looking for a fare. So we loaded everything in, and Hot Air Tom had to do all the luggage loading. I didn't particularly care for that the driver wouldn't help at all. But anyway, he got all the luggage in the back seat. I'm in my chair in the back of the van, and he sat in the front seat. And then we got to the hotel. Now, $63, but that's a hell of a ride from the train station to the Intercontinental Hotel. So the $63 I thought was a good price. It was about the same amount of distance that I rode in New York City going to Brooklyn that cost me $125. So I didn't mind that at all. So we get into the Intercontinental Hotel, and we are in a suite that is, it's obviously an accessible suite, but this thing's unbelievable. So Tom did a room tour last night. Bear with me if you have not seen this, folks. It's about 4 minutes and 30 seconds long, but just take a look at the luxury that he and I are in for the next, how many days?
Till Saturday.
Till Saturday, when we get on a boat. Eclipse, where the hell is it now?
Computer rated.
Intercon, there we go.
Okay, here's a beautiful room that Chillie and I have at the Miami Intercontinental Hotel. That originally I was booked in a tub accessible room, and I'm thinking, tub accessible? How's that accessible? So I called to see if we had any just accessible showers. So, and if I looked at the booking, it was a lot more expensive than we were paid. And when I talked to the guy, he said, well, we have one left, but I'll give it to you for the rate that you booked. So we're in 3225. That's the 32nd floor here. And we walk in and we see this. So to the right is a living area, and to the left is the bed area. And we got a nice big accessible bathroom here, and a roll-in shower with no step. And they have just recently remodeled this, from what I understand. So Cindy, watching this, will see that the desk that used to be in front of that window is no longer there. We got this table, but we got a nice big TV and 2 queen-size beds. Had a little problem finding the switch for that light between the beds. It's on the cord, the little toggle switch. And the only problem, the view isn't towards the ships. That would have been nice. We can see Bayfront Plaza and the Ferris wheel and downtown buildings. But I'm going to pivot around here, and we're going to see the Chillie Meister and his will you say that, Chillie?
What's that?
Your advertisement for your chair.
Oh, my
Will.
power chair?
Yes, the Will C2.
Well, Model C2 power chair.
Okay, and then over here we got a second bathroom. So there's a closet with a safe there, sink, and another toilet. So Chillie and I can do our business separately. And then we go into the this beautiful living area. Another window and a second TV. And these are the flowers, the roses that we got from Amtrak. Everybody in the sleeper car has got a red and white rose today. It's celebrating the new year. And we have an espresso machine like the suites on the cruise ships. I'm thinking this room's so nice. We might skip the cruise and just stay here. We're going to squat and not leave. So a nice table here. What are we going to? Here we got a bowl that you can. We could baptize a baby here in the bowl. But okay, now we're looking out the window at the reflection. Sorry about that. Let's see if I can. Yeah, if I get close to the window, that's a little better. So off to the right, that's Bayfront Plaza, and you can see the Ferris wheel going there. And the Cruiseport's just a little bit beyond to the right, out of our view. You can the edge of the water is right there at the Ferris wheel. So from here, it's a nice walk along the water to get over to Bayfront. And we really lucked out on the trip here. We walked out of the Amtrak station and we're debating whether the neighborhood was safe enough to walk or not. And Chillie decided it was too sketchy. Turned around and there's a wheelchair accessible cab waiting that was available, and we hopped in it, and so it was about $62 to get us here. 95 was backed up a little bit. So wave, Chillie. That's all for now.
All right, that's Hot Air Tom's room tour last night, which he does that a lot better than I do them. So I'm just using his. Both of us were too tired to do anything about dinner last night, so we just went downstairs and ordered a burger. Expensive. I mean, the Intercontinental Hotel is expensive. There's no way around it. But it's the same kind of prices you pay in any big city. But we got a wacky burger that has all kinds of stuff on it. And brought them up to the room last night because, number one, they didn't have tables for anybody in a wheelchair. You either had to sit, so the tables were 6 inches off the ground, or high tops. So that didn't work out. But anyway, so we brought dinner up here and had dinner, and I was done. I didn't even turn my computer on last night. I went to bed and slept like a log. I got up a couple times during the night, which is normal for me. The old man, comes out. But anyway, and I got up about my normal time this morning and started working. Started researching, catching up with what I was doing. Now, truth be told, yesterday, what I was going to do a show on the train, there wasn't a whole hell of a lot of news. So it was going to be kind of a crappy show to start with. Well, it's not like that today because we just got loaded with news today. All right, so I didn't even mention that when we started the show. So let's go back and do the normal things that I normally do. This is, of course, a combination of Wednesday, Thursday, a travel and cruise industry podcast on this, the second day of January. So we're into the new year. Brought to you by Will U.S., the owner of Scooter Around and by Chillie's Cruises. All right, so this morning, after we got one more little special thing I'm doing, the lead story today is a notorious kingpin arrested at a cruise port. Of course, the terrorist attack in New Orleans, you guys have all, I'm sure, seen that on the news. It happened while we were on the train, so we didn't have a whole lot of news on that till we got in here last night. Bridge rebuild to start. Some of my competitors are being a little misleading with the way they're wording that, but we'll give you the facts on what's happening there. Charleston Run comes to an end. Royal Caribbean stops visits at 2 ports. Carry-on luggage rules are changing. This might cause some problems for some of you guys. The foghorn kept me awake. That's another story this morning. A little backlash to a TikToker. Trinidad and Tobago declares a state of emergency due to gang violence. And MSC expands their Formula One sponsorship. That and lots more here at 11 o'clock this morning. All right, guys, today is National Cream Puff Day. I like that.
Yum.
That's right up my alley. I might have to go try to find one here. I'm probably I'd like to go out and try to do some filming in the areas, touristy type filming today. I don't think there's anything planned other than that. Who knows? Maybe I'll find a cream puff along the way. All right, this date, 1959, the Soviet Union launched Luna 1, the first spacecraft to escape the Earth's gravitational pull. Intended to impact the moon, the unmanned rocket overshot the moon and entered an orbit around the sun. Whoops. So that's how the Soviets got started off in the space business. If you're listening via the podcast, you're always welcome here. You can access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcast from. Just search for travel and cruise industry news, and up pops the old fat guy. All right, so bringing everybody up now. We're Hot Air Tom and I are in Miami, and we got a whole bunch of people that are going to join us Saturday as we get on the Norwegian Bliss. This is the pre-dry dock transatlantic of the Bliss. So we end up in Southampton in England. Hot Air Tom and I are going to spend some time banging around England. And then we're going to go over and spend a little time banging around France. And then come back to Southampton in time for the post-dry dock Norwegian Bliss transatlantic. So we're taking it over and we're coming back. All that's going to take about 6 weeks. So it's a little past the middle of February by the time this is all going to be over with. And then we're home a little bit, and then we're going to do it all over again. We're going to go to New York. From New York, we go to Rome, and a whole bunch of stuff happening after that. But anyway, so that's what's happening. So hopefully we're going to be doing lots of live streams. Lots of can pop up anytime Facebook Lives. That seem I do better with that because I don't have to prepare as much as I do a StreamYard live stream. But still, we'll be doing shows from the ship, hopefully as close to regularly scheduled as possible, which of course is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 11 o'clock Eastern time. Now, you guys all know that traveling, just like yesterday, traveling can sometimes throw you a curve. And when it happens, we'll make the best of it. So, and again, my apologies for not being able to do the show yesterday, but you know what happens sometimes. All right. Let's get on. Listen, before we get on with the news. So we've mentioned a couple times, and I've mentioned it on a couple of the Facebook Lives as well, that our buddy Katie and Angela is on Grandeur of the Seas. And they have reported back that they really like Grandeur of the Seas. It's a smaller, older ship. It's my style of ship. I've not been on Grandeur, but the older, smaller ships I like. I've always liked it. You know, I've done like both the Sun and the Sky. They're kind of the same area as for Norwegian as a ship like this is for Royal Caribbean. But anyway, and it's a fabulous itinerary that they had for their New Year's cruise, as it's a southern Caribbean cruise. But this is in Dominica, in Rosa, Dominica. And of course, you know, Angela gets, she dresses. I just love to sit back and watch whatever she comes up with for whatever she does. She's just fascinating. And there's Angela and of course our own Katie Kendrick. But this is the part that I like about this, because Katie got on an excursion and went out to the Emerald Pools, Emerald Pond, I don't remember what it's called, Emerald something or another. Nice little waterfall, nice little pond. And that's our Katie in the water with the waterfall behind us. And there she is. You can tell she's liking that. So that was Katie out there. They had a formal night on board. Once again, you got to look at Angela, the way she dolls up for everything. Of course, that's our own Katie again. And that's Angela. This was, I believe that's New Year's Eve, the attire for New Year's Eve. Again, I want to know how this woman packs. That's what I want to know. I've said that all along. And that's our Katie on New Year's Eve. And this was yesterday or the day before yesterday, one of the days in there in St. Kitts. That's Angela at St. Kitts. And that's the two of them at St. Kitts. So anyway, that's bringing you up a little bit, catching up on Katie and Angela and their sailing around on Grandeur of the Seas. So, all right, I'll be back with a whole bunch of news, folks, after a quick break from one of our fine network sponsors. All right, the lead story, guys. Rogério Faria da Silva, 44, known as Morsa Gallo, identified as a leader of Brazil's notorious criminal faction, First Comando de Capital, was apprehended at the Gustafredo Santini Passenger Maritime Terminal. The arrest occurred in Santos as Morsa Gallo disembarked from the cruise ship Costa Pacifica on December the 26th after a family vacation, which began on December 22nd. The operation was part of an ongoing narcos operation led by the Brazilian police, with officers from the Division of General Investigations and the Special Operations Group of Limeira, supported by the 5th Tourist Service Detachment of the Porto de Santos. Silva was able to avoid arrest for years by regularly changing his identity with plastic surgery. The operation extended beyond Santos, leading to the arrest of 2 additional individuals linked to the PCC. These arrests took place in Limeira, a city in Sao Paulo state, where law enforcement executed 2 arrest warrants and 10 search and seizure warrants. During a search of the property in Limeira, police discovered over 400 bricks of cocaine. Let's see, I've got the picture here if I can find it. There it is. Sorry about the delay. There we go. That was found and seized during this arrest. They also got a cash counting machine, vehicles, cell phones, and other items relevant to the investigation. The arrests included a key figure in drug distribution and a chemist actively involved in cocaine processing. Authorities found the chemist loading cocaine into an F-250 pickup truck, and it is believed the pair relocated the drugs after learning of Morcegayu's arrest. The PCC, one of Brazil's most powerful criminal factions, is notorious for its involvement in drug trafficking, arms smuggling, and other illicit activities. The man responsible for a deadly attack on Bourbon Street in New Orleans has been identified as Shamsuddin Jabbar, a 42-year-old citizen from Texas, according to the FBI. He previously served in the U.S. military. President Biden said Wednesday evening that he appears to have been inspired by ISIS. Officials now say 15 people were killed and dozens injured when the attacker drove around barricades and hurtled down Bourbon Street in the French Quarter as New Year's revelers were celebrating early on Wednesday. New Orleans Police Department Superintendent Ann Kirkpatrick described the attack as very intentional behavior. The attacker drove a pickup truck into a crowd at about 3:15 a.m., killing at least 15 and injuring dozens of others. He then exited the vehicle, a Ford pickup truck he appears to have rented in Texas, and fired upon local law enforcement, the FBI said. 2 law enforcement officers were wounded and transported to a local hospital. The attacker was struck by police fire and declared dead at the scene, according to the New Orleans Police Department. He was hell-bent on creating the carnage and the damage that he did, said Kirkpatrick. The FBI said it is investigating the incident as an act of terrorism. In televised remark Wednesday evening, President Biden said the FBI also reported to me that mere hours before the attack, he posted videos to social media indicating that he was inspired by ISIS, expressing a desire to kill. The dead include a Gulfport teenager, all-star athlete Tiger Beck, a Baton Rouge dad, a 21-year-old with New Orleans ties, and an Episcopal grad. Extra security will be in place and around the Caesars Super Bowl in New Orleans for Thursday Sugar Bowl. Officials made the decision to postpone the college football playoff quarterfinal game between Georgia and Notre Dame in the wake of the deadly attack on Bourbon Street. The driver, as we said, intentionally drove into a crowd, killing at least 15, leaving dozens more with serious and to critical injuries, including a University of Georgia student. The Sugar Bowl will now be played at 4 p.m., that's Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Central Time on Thursday. This marks the first time in the Sugar Bowl's 91-year history that the game has been postponed. Of course, our thoughts are with all those affected by this terrorist attack in New Orleans.
Here's today's Zero Solo Supplement deal. Freedom of the Seas, a 7-night Eastern Caribbean cruise from Fort Lauderdale, sailing February the 16th, 2025. Double occupancy start at $893 per person. Solo cabins from $893. Just give me a call, 434-258-9264 on the Freedom of the Seas Zero Solo Supplement.
Okay, so following that commercial up, we have another commercial from Hot Air Tom for Elijah Craig. This is for Kenneth, just to prove to Kenneth that I've got the good stuff. This was my Christmas present from Hot Air Tom and Cindy, and I have been in just good small batch bourbon, by the way. I have been enjoying a little Elijah Craig. However, last night I was too damn tired to even fix the drink. But I promise you, I'll be hitting it today.
We got a lot left for the next few days before we board the ship and it's confiscated.
It's got to be gone before we get on the boat. So, all right, on with the news. The reconstruction of the Francis Scott Key Bridge is set to begin on January the 7th. The Maryland Transportation Authority announced recently. State transportation officials sells topographic and underwater surveys as well as soil sampling to collect information for a new bridge design will begin at this time. Demolition work is expected to start in the spring, according to the Maryland Transportation Authority. Someday we'll see a new bridge. All right, now the main thing, folks, is you got to understand about this, and some of my competitors are pushing this as the construction of the new bridge starts January the 7th. That's not what is happening. The planning for the new bridge is starting on January the 7th. They're not even going to start dismantling the old bridge until the spring. So don't get all upset that they're going to start pouring concrete and tying metals and you're building the bridge. It ain't going to happen. We're going to be years till we see this bridge. Eventually, yes, we'll get a new bridge, but they're just starting. Carnival Cruise Line departed on its final departure from Charleston's Union Pier Terminal on December the 30th. Following the short New Year's cruise, Carnival Cruise Line's home porting contract at Charleston, South Carolina ends. The ship, by the way, is currently in Miami. Is that the new home port? Royal Caribbean has halted visits to two popular ports. One, San Juan, Puerto Rico, because of the long delay in completing dock repairs that have forced numerous cancellation of Symphony of the Seas visits. The cruise line also canceled calling on Manzanilla, Mexico, most likely due to a recent U.S. State Department Level 4 do not travel advisory warning travelers against heading to that part of the world. Again, folks, this to reiterate on the story. The San Juan story, I think this is Royal Caribbean trying to push the people to get that dock fixed so Symphony of the Seas can get back on its regular schedule. Now, Symphony's now going a whole totally different itinerary because they can't get to San Juan. They can't dock there. So they're just saying, okay, nobody's going there. Now, this could change, in a day's time. They'll start going back to San Juan as soon as the dock is finally fixed. Now, Manzanilla is another story. That's going to take some time before, the conditions are such that the State Department can drop it to 3, and eventually it's probably going to have to go to 2 before they'll start going back in there with cruise ships. That's my thinking. So, American Airlines plans to implement a revised baggage policy that could redefine what you're allowed to bring on board. Currently, American Airlines allows a personal item and one carry-on bag per passenger, but the fine print is where things get interesting. Your personal item, think small backpack, purse, or laptop bag, must fit under the seat in front of you and measure no more than 18 by 14 by 8 inches. Carry-ons, on the other hand, have a limit of 22 by 14 by 9 inches, including wheels and handles. Any bigger and your bag is headed to the cargo hold, often at no cost. I wonder how long that will last. And by the way, this isn't something that the Americans just thought up, folks. This has started in Europe and has raised a lot of confusion in Europe. And it seems like it's going to make its way to the States now.
We have the equipment you need to stay mobile. Whether you need a wheelchair, scooter, power chair, rollator, oxygen, or other pieces of mobility equipment, Scootaround, powered by Will, can help. Once you've booked your rental, we can deliver it to wherever you need. For your mobility needs, contact me or call Scoot Around at 888-441-7575. Use SRN 11137 for the best rates.
A Carnival guest has demanded compensation because of the ship's use of a foghorn on a foggy night. It kept her awake. Lady, you would rather see the ship crash to save you a little beauty rest? I don't think so. Trinidad and Tobago, the twin island Caribbean nation located just off the coast of Venezuela, has declared a national state of emergency following a string of gang-related violence just days before the new year. The two islands have been categorized by the U.S. Department of State as a level 3 risk, with the department encouraging travelers to reconsider travel to the nation since July of 2024, citing violent crimes, kidnappings, sexual assault, and shootings, which are common. It's bad enough that our government officials, are forbidden to travel to certain places throughout the two islands due to crime. President Christine Carla Kingaloo issued the declaration on December 30th following a shooting that left 5 men dead in a shop in Leventil, an act that is considered backlash for a murder of a gang leader the day before. The state of emergency allows police to arrest anyone on suspicion of involvement in criminal activity and have the power to search public and private buildings. Won't be long. Oops. Oh well, cut that story off. All right. You guys heard about this crazy woman from TikTok that got on an unnamed Norwegian ship? I'm not supposed to tell you the name, but maybe it has something to do. If you ever go to a concert and the end of the concert, they come out and they sing something extra. Does that give you a hint on what ship it was? So this crazy woman from TikTok, now our own, I hate to say this, but one of our regular viewers does TikTok all the time, and maybe that's how she gets some crazy ideas. I won't mention any names because she lives in New York. So anyway, this woman goes up to a crew member. Now, this is a regular crew member on the Norwegian ship that I'm not supposed to name, and says, oh, by the way, I'm going to jump overboard tonight. It's going to be a hoax, and we're going to film it. Well, obviously, the crew member, he tries to talk her out of it, and she goes on, and then she goes off on other tangents and stuff. But this is what she does all the time. Well, here's the bottom line of the situation, folks. Number one, people that go overboard, whether it is accidental or on purpose for one reason or the other, it could be somebody throwing you overboard or somebody doing themselves in, jumping overboard. 25% roughly survive. 75% die if you go overboard from a cruise ship. So here this dingbat TikTok woman is going to jump overboard thinking it's going to help build her damn channel further. Okay? I don't think so, folks. Now, the crew member, of course, he has protocols that he has to do, and it goes right up the line. And of course, they stop the woman from doing this. There's a lot of backlash now from her channel of other maybe aren't as crazy as some are that are going back at her. That how stupid could that be? That would be the equivalent of walking into TSA at an airport and saying, "Oh, there's a bomb on the plane." You just don't do that. Number one, it's damage. You know, she's taking a chance on killing herself. Let's say they let her do it. Taking a chance on killing herself, number one. Number two, it's then showing people that you can do it. So then you're going to have copycats from all these idiot people watching TikToks constantly. I hope they ban her for life. That's the only outcome from this one that I'd be happy with. So that's my rant for the day. MSC Cruises has announced that it will be the title sponsor of 3 Formula One World Championship Grand Prix during the 2025 season as part of its global partnership with the sport. The 3 races include Formula One MSC Cruises Austrian Grand Prix 2025 in June, the Formula One MSC Cruises United States Grand Prix 2025 in October, and the Formula One MSC Cruises Gran Premio de Sao Paulo 2025 in November. This marks the first time the line's brand will be included in the name of these 3 races, in addition to MSC Cruises racetrack branding as part of its global partnership, which began with the sport in 2022. Congratulations to MSC for another big step.
Let's talk about Allianz Travel Insurance. That's what I use and have for years. Without travel insurance, you'll have to navigate every travel emergency on your own, whether it's that missing suitcase or a medical evacuation. With Allianz Travel Insurance, you have a dedicated team of travel and medical experts on your side. For more information, just give me a call, 434-258-9264, and we'll talk about an Allianz policy that fits your needs.
All right, that wraps up the news portion of today's show, coming to you from the Intercontinental Hotel in Miami. So let's go see if anybody is in the chat room, since we're not supposed to do a show today. The show was supposed to be yesterday. So who knows if anybody's here or not. And I have not, because I don't have my backup computer, I can't keep up with what's going on in the chat room. So let's go see who's here. What do you say? Adam Rose is with us from X, says Luke. I'm not sure what that means. Ken is with us. This is a very snowy day and cold. We should have 4 feet of snow. No, thank you, Kenneth. I said that reminds me of my days in Pittsburgh.
Hey, Chillie.
Yeah.
You know who Adam Rose is? That's the guy that does all those funny OSHA type videos that come into the feed with weird workplace accidents.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, welcome aboard. He's welcome to come in anytime he wants. All right. So Kenneth says, I definitely wish I was on this cruise with you guys. Can't wait till March. Enjoy that sun down in Miami. Yeah, it's clouding up a little bit now. I'm looking right outside this lovely window. I'm in the living quarter room. It's where I've set up my studio-ish. And by the way, folks, in case if my audio is not crisp like it normally is, yeah, that was my stupidity. I left my mic kit at home. I have a little kit that has 2 mics in it and a little thing that plugs into my phone. So I had to make some adjustments this morning to get on the air and have audio. So it might be a little unbalanced. We're just going to have to make the best of it, unless I can find a mic kit on the fly, which is possible. But anyway, I'd like to get out, to go take some pictures, to get some photography to, go into Will for my ambassadorship. Gary Older in the Dirt's here. Good morning, Gary. There's Gretchen out in Ohio. There's Roger in Jacksonville. Gretchen says, just a dusting of snow there. I'm kind of disappointed. Well, what I couldn't believe was that it wasn't snow. It was damn ice that came down out of the sky as I'm trying to get from the farm to the train station in Richmond. It was awful. So, I mean, actually, it was the highway, interstate was covered and people sliding and stuff. Yeah, it was unbelievable.
Hey, Chillie.
Yes.
I think they'd be interested in hearing my you forgot your mic, because you tell them what I forgot and what we worked out this morning to deal with it.
Okay, so yeah, I think most of you now know the Hot Air Tom story, that I went to his house, picked up him, went to the train station, unloaded my chair and all the stuff for this trip. And he took my car back to his house, which avoided me paying $460 in parking or whatever it was going to be.
Cindy's only going to charge him $300.
Yeah, Cindy's going to charge me $300. So that's going to save me $1.50. So that's okay. So anyway, my car's in Hot Air Tom's driveway. And I was way early. And because I left the house even earlier because I saw that storm coming, I said, take your time. I'll just sit and wait here. The hell, he was back in 5 minutes. But he forgot to go get his insulin out of the refrigerator. He had all the other stuff in his car. He forgot to get the insulin. So he doesn't discover this until we're on the damn train. So I suggested that maybe he gets one of his drivers or somebody like that to pick stuff up. So Hot Air Tom, tell us what you ended up getting done this morning to get your insulin here tomorrow.
So first of all, Cindy wasn't comfortable, going out and going to the FedEx and packaging it up because she's never shipped anything. So okay. So I thought, we'll see if we have resources at the limousine company. Talked to Hope, my boss CEO, and there's one driver coming from Charlottesville for a Richmond airport pickup this afternoon that has done some wine pickups in Charlottesville for me. And I thought, he might be able to leave early enough if he's available, and you have a problem with that. Nope, she approved it. So I called him. He's going to come a little early and pick up the insulin and Amex card from Miss Cindy today. And if you're listening, Cindy, he's supposed to let me know when his ETA is, so I'll give you a call then. But the FedEx place is at a major intersection, just less than a mile from my home, so he'll take it there. And I told him, just to save having to return to the house, just don't package the box up until it's paid for, and then put the Amex in the box so I get it back with the insulin, and we'll be good, because he's picking up an unaccompanied minor at the airport, so he'll have to take extra time to get through the protocol of getting the documents to go through TSA, and he has to meet at the gate to get the crew to transfer the minor to him to take back to Charlottesville then. So, and he agreed to all this, so we'll see how this works out, because I don't want to be 45 days without any insulin. And the insurance company, Chillie's other suggestion is see if the insurance company can advance me something. Well, they did that when I was in North Carolina, where was I last month?
Port Canaveral.
Yeah, and
or Myrtle Beach.
I did my math wrong and didn't. We were going for a month, and I didn't do the math on how much of the fast-acting insulin I needed, and ran short. So they did an emergency supply approval. I got it to local CVS there, so I didn't want to have to deal with that again.
All right, so Hot Air Tom's going to get his insulin back. Roger says it's 51 degrees in Jacksonville. He's freezing. Yeah. Actually, I've been cold in this hotel. The lobby is always cold in this hotel, but it's a little bit colder in the rooms too. I was glad to see that Hot Air Tom, who normally likes it colder than I do, he was complaining this morning that it was pretty cold in the room.
The thermostats are 80 degrees, but apparently they don't generate heat.
Yeah.
We just got air conditioning floating in from the people that like to freeze.
Roger says, "What time do we embark on the Bliss?" I think my time is 10:30 to 11.
Mine's 10 to 10:30.
10 to 10:30. So with me in the wheelchair, I get there with Hot Air Tom at 10. They're going to take me in anyway. So we'll be there, 10 to 10:30. So let's see. Gretchen says, "Who's the woman that just left?" That's our housekeeper. She was in, doing the towels and making the beds.
Gretchen doesn't believe us.
Whatever you do.
Gretchen's comment.
Oh, okay. So Gretchen thinks that this is, no, it's not. I promise you, Gretchen. Yeah, ain't gonna happen. So Bob's with us. Good morning, Bob. Have a great cruise and be safe.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.